secret, riding through the air she comes, lured with the smell of infant blood, to dance with Lapland witches, while the laboring moon eclipses their charms. The other shape, if shape it might be called, that shape has none, distinguishable in member, joint, or limb, or substance might be called that shadow seemed, for each seemed either black as it stood as night, fierce as 10 furies, terrible as hell, and shook a terrible dart. What seemed his head the likeness of a crown, a kingly crown had on. Satan was now at hand, and from his seat the monster moving onward came as fast with horrid strides. Hell trembled as he strode, the undaunted faint. With what this might be admired, not feared. God and his Son accept, created thing not valued, he nor shunned. And with disdainful look, thus first began. Whence and what art thou, execrable shape? What darest, though grim and terrible, advance thy miscreated front athwart my way to yonder gates? Through them I mean to pass, that be that assured, without leave asked of thee. So retire or taste thy folly, and learn by proof hell born, not to contend with the spirits of heaven.
To whom the goblin full of wrath replied,
Art thou that terror angel, art thou he, who first broke peace in heaven and earth, till then unbroken and in proud rebellious arms, drew after him the third part of heaven's son, conjured against the highest, for which both thou, that they outcast from God, are here commanded, to waste eternal days in woe and pain? And reckonest thou myself with spirits of heaven? Hell doomed and breathless to friend, here and scorn, where I regain hell, and to range thee more, thy king and lord? Bo, back to thy punishment, false fugitive, and to thy speed add wings, lest with a whip of scorpions I pursue thy lightning, or with one spark of his heart dart. Strange horror seized thee, and pains unfelt before.
So spake the grisly terror, and his shape, so speaking and so threatening, grew tenfold more dreadful and deformed. On the other side, incensed with indignation, Satan stood unterrified, and like a comet bird that fires the lake of Ophius huge in the Arctic sky, and from his horrid hair shakes pestilence and war. Each at the head leveled his deadly aim, their fatal hands no second stroke intend, and such a frown each cast at the other, as when two black clouds with heaven's artillery fraught come rattling on over the Caspian, then stand front to front, hovering in space, till winds the signal blow to join their dark encounter in midair. So frowned the mighty combatants, that hell grew darker at their frown. So matched they stood, for never but once more was either like to meet so great a foe. And now great deeds had been achieved, whereof all hell had rung, had not the snaky sorceress that sat fast by hell gate and kept the fatal key risen, and with hideous outcry rushed between. O Father, what intends thy hand, she cried, against thy only Son? What fury, O Son, possessed thee to bend that mortal dart against thy Father's head? And knowest for whom? For him who sits above and laughs the while at thee ordained his judge, to execute whatever his wrath, which he calls justice, bids his wrath, which one day will destroy ye both.
Oh, she spake, and at her words the voice forquo. Yeah. Then these to her saint returned. So strange thou, I cried, and thy words so strange thou interposest, that my sudden hand prevented, spares to tell thee yet by deeds what it intends. Tell first I know of thee, what thing thou art thus double formed, and why in this infernal vale first met thou callest me father, and that phantasm calls my son. I know thee not, and now, nor ever saw till now, sight more detestable than him and thee.
To whom thus the portress of Hellgate replied, Hast thou forgot me then, and do I seem now in thine eyes so foul? One seems so fair in heaven when at the assembly, and in sight of all the seraphim with thee combined in bold conspiracy against heaven's king. All on a sudden miserable pain surprise thee, dim thine eyes, and dizzy swim in darkness, while thy head flames thick and fast threw forth, till on the left side opening wide, likest to thee in shape and countenance bright, then shining heavenly fair, a goddess armed, out of thy head I sprung, seized all the host of heaven. Back they recoiled, afraid at first, and called me sin, and for a sight portentous held me. But with familiar gloom I pleased, and with attractive graces won the most at first, thee chiefly, who full oft thyself in me, thy perfect image, viewing, becamest enamored. In such joy thou tookest with me in secret, that my womb conceived the growing burden. Meanwhile war arose, and fields were fought in heaven, wherein remained, for what could else to our almighty foe, clear victory, and to our part loss and rout, though all the Imperium. Down they fell, driven headlong from the pitch of heaven, down into this deep, and in the general fall I also, At which time this powerful key into my hand was given, with charge to keep these gates forever shut, which none can pass without my opening. Pensive here I sat alone, but long I sat not, till my womb pregnant by thee, and now excessive grown, prodigious motion felt in rueful throes. At last this odious offspring, whom thou seest thine own begotten, breaking violent ways through my entrails, that with fear and pain distorted, all my nether shape thus grew transformed. But he, my inbred enemy, forth issued, brandishing his fatal dart made to destroy. I fled and cried out, "Death!" Hell trembled at the hideous name, and sighed from all her caves, and back resounded death. I fled, but he pursued, though more it seems inflamed with lust and rage, and swifter far me overtook his mother all dismayed, and in embraces forcible and foul, engendering with me of that rape begot these yelling monsters that with ceaseless cries surround me, as thou sawest, hourly conceived and hourly born, with sorrow infinite to me. For when they listen to the womb that bred them, they return and howl and gnaw my bowels their repast. Then bursting forth afresh with conscious terror, vex me round, that rest or intermission none I find. Before mine eyes in opposition sits grim death, my son and foe, who sets them on, and me his parent would full soon devour for want of other prey. But that he knows his end with mine involved, and knows that I should prove a bitter morsel, and his bane, whenever that shall be, so fate pronounce. But thou, O Father, I forewarn thee, shun his deadly arrow, neither vainly hope to be invulnerable in those bright arms, though tempered heavenly for that mortal din, save he who reigns above, none can resist.
She finished, and the subtle fiend his lore soon learned, now milder, thus answered to me, "Dear daughter, since thou claimest me for thy sire, and my fair son here shows me the dear pledge of dalliance had with thee in heaven, and joys then sweet now, sad to mention. Though dire change befallen us, foreseen and unthought of, no, I come no enemy, but to set free from out of this dark and dismal house of pain both him and thee, and all the heavenly hosts of spirits that in our just pretenses armed fell with us from on high. From them I go on this uncouth errant soul, and one for all of myself exposed with lonely steps to tread this unfounded deep, and through the void immersed to search with wandering quest a place foretold should be, and by concurring signs ere now created vast and round, a place of bliss in the purlieus of heaven, and therein placed by a race of upstart creatures to supply perhaps our vacant room, though more removed, lest heaven's surcharge with potent multitude might have to remove new broils. Be this or aught that this more secret now designed, I haste to know, and this once known shall soon return and bring ye to the place where thou in death shalt dwell at ease. And up and down unseen wings silently the buxom air embalms with odors. There ye shall be fed and filled immeasurably. All things shall be your friend."
He ceased, for both seemed highly pleased, and death grinned horrible a ghastly smile, to hear his famished and blessed his maw destined to that good hour, no less rejoiced his mother bade, and thus besake her sire.
The key of this infernal pit by due, and by command of heaven's all-powerful king I keep, by him forbidden to unlock this adamantine gates against all force. Death ready stands to interpose his dart, fearless to be overmatched by living might. But what I owe to his commands above who hates me, and had hither thrust me down into this gloom of Tartarus profound, to sit in hateful office here confined, inhabitant of heaven and heavenly born, here in perpetual agony and pain, with terrors and with clamors compassed round of mine own brood, that on my bowels feed. Thou art my father, thou my author, thou my being gavest me. Whom should I obey but thee? Whom follow? Thou wilt bring me soon to the new world of light and bliss, among the gods who live at ease, where I shall reign at thy right hand voluptuous, as beseems thy daughter and thy darling, without end.
Thus saying from her side fatal key, sad instrument of our woe, she took him towards the gate, rolling her bestial train. Forthwith the huge portcullis high updrew, which by herself not all the Stygian powers could once have moved. Then in the keyhole turns the intricate wards, and every bolt and bar of massy iron and solid rock with ease and fastens. On a sudden open fly with impetuous recoil and jarring sound, the infernal doors, and on their hinges great harsh thunder, that the lowest bottom shook with service. She opened, but to shut itself to power, and the gates wide open still, that with the extended wings and bannered hosts under spread instincts, marching might pass through with horse and chariot strength and increased array. So wide they stood, and like a furnace mouth cast forth the